Welcome to another episode of Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. I am Benjamin, and I am sharing with you a theme grouping of banknotes that all depict a specific crop called cotton. And at this moment, I'm going to change so that we can be face-to-face conversation. I was happy to show you that banknote from Zambia, and I wanted to let you know that for the longest time I thought about not doing this video because of here in the United States, the edginess behind the historical depiction of African Americans picking cotton, which was the crop of the Deep South. As a matter of fact, there seems to be enough of a problem with the theme of cotton on banknotes that we don't have any recent notes, I think, in North America that show the cotton crop. Most of the banknotes in this set, surprisingly enough, are from Africa. There's a few from Syria and a note or two from Nicaragua. But, you know, there's still edginess about this topic, and it's not something that, you know, anybody even talks about at the historic African or Black American school that I teach at and run the library for. My mother has told me stories of her time as a child picking cotton, and she does remember the big bags. It's harvested much more mechanically, and I would guess safely now, because they bale it in like giant bales that are almost bigger than a car, and it looks like it snows, so a lot of the product is left in the fields. Probably that would be a little bit of waste, but I don't know how much money there is in cotton right now. There must be some money in it because there's so many clothes for sale at even just Walmart, and I'm not being silly there. There's different qualities of cotton. I know that the long fibers that come from Egyptian cotton seem to be a premium cotton, and I don't know that much more about it, but I do know that I have kind of done a video on cotton because I did a video on the hibiscus flower, and you guys may not realize this, but cotton is a hibiscus cousin. In fact, before the cotton boll forms, you have the hibiscus flower, just like you do on any other hibiscus plant. And it's a big yellow hibiscus, and it's big enough and can serve the same form as any other hibiscus flower. In fact, the little cotton bud, I don't know how edible it is, but it's exactly like another hibiscus relative, the okra, which also has the hibiscus flower. So we have a whole lot tied up in a beautiful plant that's tropical and can bring visions of vacations. And then cotton, which can bring concern and gratitude at the same time for the clothing that it can provide, but the sadness that is still historic in a lot of our populations here in the United States. But then also okra, which is a staple in some of these same communities, and something that here, if you ever come to Oklahoma, you're going to have to get. I prefer it fried over boiled. It is slimy, and that makes it related to another cousin of hibiscus called mallow, which is where we get marshmallow. The same mucilage that is part of marshmallow is the slickiness or the snottiness of okra whenever it's boiled. I've had a lot to say to that. Let's get back to the beauty of the banknote and the away from the ugliness of this face. Okay, so let's take a look at this banknote again. With everything I've told you about cotton, there's a few other things. I've mentioned that it's related to a lot of other hibiscus plant. It also is related to the Rose of Sharon, and they are all related. It is a shrub that can be found worldwide. And if you look at the scene on the back of this Zambia banknote, it's not a high-growing plant. It's a very low-growing plant. And cotton doesn't just come in white. They don't bleach it, but white is a preference. But you can get cotton that grows brown. You can get cotton that grows green. And you can get cotton that grows pink. And I have to say, I'm having to take some of the word I find online because I have never seen any of those other cottons, but I think it would be absolutely beautiful. Strangely enough, I found out that the largest producer of cotton in the world is actually India. And the name of cotton is a word that has its origins in Arabic, where it comes from the let's see if I can say this right. Cotton or cotton. And I'm going to assume that means cotton. Let's go ahead and let's look at the banknotes that I have to share with you today that have themes on it related to cotton. In this case, you have workers harvesting the cotton. At this stage, they don't pull out or pluck out the seeds, which are sharp and can sometimes leave your fingers bloody. They're actually just packing them in bags, and they will take these to a gin or an engine that will sep the cotton and then use teeth and combs to comb out the seeds. And it's the seeds that sometimes give cottonseed oil, and it's the seeds that they would then use to plant the following crop of the next year. This is a lovely banknote from Zambia. Here's what the front of it looks like. And let's move on to Nicaragua in Central America. This is a 2 Cordobas, and it's a 1972 note, and it's kind of a neat little banknote. It has the bank building, which is very boring if you ask me, on the right hand side. And our cotton theme must be related to the vignette on the back. And it sure does. This is one of those simple banknote designs that please me in the simplicity. And if you take a look at the far left, we have a field that says Sembrario de Algodón. And so I assume that means the fields of cotton. I don't know at what stage the cotton is grown or is grown in this picture, but it is cotton. Let's move on over to our next note, which is also from Nicaragua. Let's just stay there. This is a 20 Cordobas of 1985. Lovely blue note. And on this side, it's not a field of cotton. It's a banknote that celebrates the reform of agriculture. And you can see a lot of the workers there marching with their machetes upraised. Looks a little violent to me, but, they're just reveling in their agricultural background. And the cotton you can see on this plant consists of the flower, which you look at, you can see its relation to hibiscus. And the cotton buds, which will bowl out, and is the seed part that would be okra, if this was an okra plant. Or Jamaica, the little drink from Mexico, comes from the same plant. And here is a bowl that's actually ready for harvest, and this bud has burst. And so there you go, the cotton plant. We're moving from Central America to Egypt. Take a look at this note. I like all Egyptians' monies, but I will tell you this. This is the one I like the least, because there is so many historic statues in Egypt from literally thousands of years ago, and they chose to put a new statue on this banknote, although it is very meaningful, and I don't intend to demean Egypt very, very much at all. But this is a current Sphinx with a lady, and I'm sure it has something to do with the modernization of the Arab state. I have no clue what that means, though. But here on the back of this note, this 25 piastres, you can see corn, you can see wheat, and you can see cotton. All crops that are important to Egypt. The next note I'm going to share with you is from the Sudan. The Sudan is next to Egypt, and this is a 1 Sudanese pound, and it's kind of a blue note too. This is the bank building on the back of this note, and for centuries Sudan was really a province of Egypt, and some like to argue that Sudan would be better off if it had never left Egypt, but then there are others who are like, huh? Sudan has hundreds of pyramids just like Egypt, but do you know anybody who's looking forward to going to Sudan for tourism? I can't think of anybody at this point. They may have been a little bit better had they maintained some sort of relationship with Egypt. The closest I've been to Sudan was when I visited the temple of Abu Simbel, and I was within 9 or 10 miles of the Sudanese border. I wanted to go, but even the security guards looked at me like I had lost my mind, so I'll have to settle for next time. Here on the front of this note is cotton. The main vignette on this note is a bowl of cotton. And over here, a wreath of it. Well, not really a wreath, but, a grouping of the cotton plants. And when I say boll, I'm not meaning B-O-L or B-O-W-L. I'm meaning B-O-L-L, which is like a bud that contains the crop. After the flower falls away, you know, the little bud grows, and it contains, well, it's like the fruit of the cotton. It contains a seed, so that must be what it is. We're moving from Egypt or from the Sudan to Syria. This is a 5-pound, and it's absolutely beautiful. One of the theaters that you can see sprinkled all over the Syria that hopefully survived ISIS. And on the back of the note, you actually see a factory where cotton is spun into threads, and then you see how cotton is harvested within Syria. And you have here the cotton plants, cotton, its leaves, and how it looks. About the only thing you don't see here, like you see on some of the other plants, is the flower. It's kind of a washed out design, but I still like it. This note is from Kenya. It's a 200 shillings, and this particular one dates from 2009. And that's Jomo Kenyatta on this side, and on this other side is a beautiful scene of field workers harvesting the cotton plant. And you can see the leaves, and you can see the illusion of the plants going on and on until the distance. And then you see the big baskets of cotton, and then you see the cotton bolls here ready for harvest. They seem to be doing their harvesting in smaller containers here, and I imagine it's more automated now. But here in the United States, cotton was originally harvested in giant sacks that would drag behind you for sometimes 10 or 20 feet. So, I mean, I guess it kept you from having to change your basket or empty it out enough, but wow. Let's move to South America for the next description of cotton on a banknote. We're landing in Peru, and this is a 10 intis from 1987. And I see nothing on this side of interest towards the cotton theme, but I do like this guy's glasses. I think those glasses are called pince-nez, and you know it's pince because it's pinching around his nose. And you know, people are freaking out because you can get sunglasses like that now, and they think it's the neatest thing. They don't realize that pince-nez has been around for hundreds of years. Goodness gracious. But look at that, a beautiful scene of agriculture with the gentleman on the left, probably doing something related to potatoes, and then the worker at the center in a cotton field. Kind of neat, huh? I have nothing but respect for the workers of the cotton field. That is a hot, thankless job, but if they didn't do it, we wouldn't have clothes. So they have my respect. We're going to go back to Africa from Peru, and this time we're going to land in Tanzania. And this is a 20 shilling, or ishirini. And on the back of this 20 shilling, we have a note that's similar to the Syrian note because you have cotton fibers being spun into the cotton plant. And here at the base of it, you actually see a bowl of cotton and some of the leaves of a cotton plant. A very impressive note. We're going to go to Syria, and this was a note that I forgot I had. It's a 1997 note. You can tell because it says it right there, 1997. And you know that last letter is 7 because it's opened up to heaven. Arabic date would be 1418. There's an old historical coin. That's a dome from somewhere. And there's some warriors here to the right. So you actually have swords and horseback. And apparently capes that all would form a lovely theme. And when you turn this note over, you see not just agriculture themes, but you see manufacturing themes. So you have the plants where, or the factories where they spin the cotton into thread, and then you have the thread on the loom making the cloth, and there's the rolls of the cloth. And then back here, I want to think that that's something agricultural related. That might be the machines that prepare the cotton, because it looks like you could load the top up and then it falls through, and then they have the cotton ready to be spun. But it could just as easily be an oil holding tank. I really don't know. I hope somebody can give me some insight. But for the purposes of this video, over here on the far left is the cotton plant, and you can see the bolls and you can see the leaves. By the way, the leaves are actually edible as well. So if leaves of the hibiscus and the cotton are somewhat edible at the beginning of the season, there you go. We're going to move over to Nigeria for this video. This is the 100 naira. And it looks to me like there's some sort of seeds over here. Those may be coffee beans, or they may be, I don't know. I mean, they certainly don't look like a hibiscus seed or a cotton seed to me, but they may be a bean of some sort. This OVI, this optical variable ink here, is of a manila ring, which is some old money that was used in the economy of Africa to buy cows, to buy wives, things of that nature. And, you know, perhaps to buy land and crops as well. And underneath this 100 naira, you can see a bowl of cotton. Really artistically done on this note. Let's see what's on the other side. Oh yeah, this is a commemorative. I didn't realize that I had it. There's a better view of the manillas. There's some more manillas. Those might be coconuts or some gourds of some sort. It looks to me like there's some cowrie shells up here at the top. Lovely little note indeed. That almost looks like a I know it's the arms of the nation, but doesn't it kind of look like a subway token from New York? The last note I'm going to share with you is from Sudan, and it is 1,000 Sudanese dinar. At a certain point, they got away from the pound there. And you can see the stylized cotton bowl right here. And then when you look at the back of the note, there's nothing here on this side that would indicate cotton, so it was just a theme that appeared on the other side. However, when you look at the basicness of this design and the roughness of this design, this leads me to think that Algeria, or, you know, the printing presses of Algeria, were instrumental in developing the back of this note, and so perhaps the front of this note as well. They never claimed their work, but I like to make estimations. Wow, this video has taken a lot more time than I thought. Do you have any other banknotes that you can think of that contain cotton? I know that Angola has some notes, and I am sure that there are at least 10 other countries that I have not had banknotes from to share with you. Please like and comment and share and subscribe to my channel. I have some good stuff here, and I want to keep providing you with good content. I am Benjamin. This is Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. Have a jewel of a day.